So, crap, I entered the game. So, MK11 Aftermath review. One, a really damn good sequel. Not as good as the original game, but damn good. It was darker. I'll get into that a little bit longer. The premise, and this is the thing that bothered me the whole time within the trailers, the actual game, is that it's stupid. I think they were trying to make a facade of like Shang Tsung. Maybe I gotta rewatch it, but it might have just been a facade of Shang Tsung and Sindel not betraying them, opposed to like them actually having conscience. But I thought it would be more interesting if they had a conscience, or they were like, "Oh, we know you're gonna betray us, but we're gonna keep an eye on you." I think that part wasn't that clear. It should have been done better, or they could have just done. They could have done comical, which is just, we know this premise is stupid. Let's just keep going with it. Or they could have done it like serious and be like, "Yeah, we know you're gonna betray us, so we're gonna keep an eye on you." And when they actually do the twist of the betrayal, it's pretty good. They do a whole chapter on it. It's like the second half of the game, and it's excellent. I think the setup's pretty bad, much like the first episode of Earth Final Conflict, where I think the assassination just a waste of time. It just there this take up an hour. Oh, pretty cool, the Robocop footage. I've not done that yet with that play. Looks like he's loaded. Looks like he does like combos. Kano versus, he's basically the Terminator. Kano versus Arnold will be pretty interesting. I don't know how I feel about RoboCop in the actual movies. Like, is it really the actor, or is it just the director? But in any case, that's the problem. They have a twist, but the setup is so bad, and if you don't get around that, it's pretty bad. Unless I've miswatched it, and it's like they're straight up pretending, they're straight up saying that they're going to betray him. But I thought it was them trying to make it as if they were more empathetic. Sindel, I think, would have been very interesting if she had turned on Shang Tsung and was a good person, or Shang Tsung had become a good person in the end. When they actually betray was really good, and I think that's really good. Albeit, Shang Tsung is not a very subtle guy. He's like, "I am betraying you. Did you know that?" About like walking array like a spy in Team Fortress 2. He's not like that, unfortunately. But I don't know, I at least get all the music playing. It's very theatrical and everything. It's cool. They're talking about the Night Wolves, different spirits of Night Wolf, and that's pretty cool. It's cool to hear about Fusion wanting to become live with the humans. Wish I got to seen that. They reused a lot of footage from MK11, and I think that works. It's sort of clever, sort of Power Ranger-y, and cheap at the same time, but it works. So people have the concern with Back to the Future 2 as well. Even though Back to the Future 2, they actually redo the sets, so it's not quite like that. Back to the Future in Mortal Kombat 11. They do everything else. There's a lot of time travel. The time slurs, Kushida. She doesn't WWE though. Cizelle could have this whole arc. I thought she was going to be the thing that ties everything together, but it was more like they just wanted the army, Shiva's army. So Goro. It doesn't really make Shang Tsung look like a smart villain. You just have this cool thing where he's the boss in the end. More on that later. It's just that the heroes are really, I don't know. They aren't really dumb because of the ending. They show that I guess it's not that dumb because like it shows in the end that Liu Kang was like, "Hey, we knew you were going to betray us, but we needed you to defeat Kronika." He's the Joker. He is the mastermind. There's no Joker in this game. In the story mode. He is a playable character, however. So we covered Fujin, we covered Sindel, Shang Tsung. It's cool how they manipulate the timeline, but it's like canon yet it's a sequel yet. Could it have survived by itself? If it had not played it, that's what it's DLC though, so it's like part 2 of the game, but it's like a sequel, but it's like would it have worked by itself? But it's not by itself, it's DLC. So I don't know. It's pretty cool Nightwolf suit. That's bullshit about like, oh, we can't screw up the timelines, but they blatantly screw up the timelines, which was sort of annoying as well. It was a little cheap, like they supposedly everything was good in the end, but like they don't show a lot of characters in the end to show that. There's not a lot of Jade, Kotal Khan. A little cheap, yeah. Kanata has the thing with her mother, and I don't know how this can be affected with Classic Towers. I guess it won't be affected now because like she doesn't have him as a good guy. So there goes that. Probably should do the spoilers. I'll say spoilers later in the game when I titled this. Shao Kahn is freaking boring. Smashes Liu Kang's legs. Liu Kang does whisper to Fujin, so he didn't reveal to him the plan, but if that's the Fujin from the original reality, the Liu Kang from this reality, that's so confusing. Time stuff could be very confusing. Some cool spawn footage. The cages basically don't do anything either. They just lose. Johnny Cage looks pretty badass, but he's like, protect my family, all this stuff, and he really breaks out. They use the young Johnny Cage, they don't see the old Johnny Cage. Jax has a pretty cool moment where he redeems himself from the original timeline. The evil, not evil, but like manipulated Jax. It's pretty cool, this is an arcade. Pretty cool stage. Don't really have any Jackie, even which was a big part of the original game. Sonya and Cassidy do very little. Collector does a little bit. They all trace Shang Tsung. But it's all part of Liu Kang's plan. This is... The gameplay, I don't need to review anything. The only thing I think they do is like the King of Fighters... somewhat Marvel vs. Capcom tag teaming, but that's about it. I don't really like using Shang Tsung. Nightwolf's alright. Shiva, I don't... Do I use Shiva? Yeah, I use Shiva. She doesn't have a lot of range, but she's very powerful and she's fast. Fast enough. I don't know, she can combo. Sindel's really freaking broken. I didn't play Shao Kahn at all. And that's pretty much it. Maybe there'll be another part where they have Mileena. We shall see. Oh, Garrus was in a lot of the game. It's pretty cool. And it's very interesting that Shang Tsung doesn't... If Shang Tsung has said that he was stealing the powers of Sindel and Shao Kahn to fight Kronika, would make more sense. I don't know what Cetrion did, so that's another thing that could be in the third part. So there's that and Mileena, and they don't have Quan Chi, and they talk about Quan Chi like crazy. They talk about Shinnok like crazy, but he's not in the game. It sort of feels like Episode 9 of Star Wars, where they have like different evil factions and fighting each other. And what else? The only thing I really do is story, yeah, because like the gameplay, there's not really much changes. when that updates. We don't really see Revenant Sindel. If you get the end, so there's two endings which I forgot to mention: the Shang Tsung ending and the Liu Kang ending. If you get the Shang Tsung ending, and then where Liu Kang dies anyway after all getting everybody killed, then Liu Kang looks really dumb. If you get the Liu Kang ending, which I think is the canon ending, it's a little weird though, because like he does a thing where it's like talks to Kung Lao in the past, and like there's not a lot of characters featured. I figured they would have had Raiden instead, talking the actual timeline, but yeah, all that is not. Raiden's pretty good in this. I was hoping for evil Raiden to be fighting people, the Shinnok Amulet Raiden. That would have been a great twist. But I don't know. I thought what they did was pretty good. Scorpion doesn't show up. Sub-Zero. They do, but not in the final battle. Cowboy guy shows up, Kano doesn't show up. I wonder if they couldn't get some actors because of whatever reason, or a replacement. What are your thoughts? Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoy the battle.